Exactly. He says that let us therefore come boldly
unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy.
It's a time of mercy and time to find grace.
Help in time of need.
In the time of need. That eukaryotes moment. It is a moment of divine investiture meant for your advantage. We've spoken a lot, but let's get into the word.
Okay, Papa.
When you turn to the book of Habakkuk, the chapter 2, the verse 11.
For the stone shall cry out of the wall.
Hold on. If you have, and listen, when you hear stories of men of God, don't let it look strange to you because you too have experienced it. Fee,
Papa,
do you know that your walls have spoken to you 1,000,000 times?
Papa, I don't know.
But you might not have noticed.
Papa,
Today I'm going to show you how your walls speak. So that when a prophet says, I was in a space, and the walls announced, a certain man of God said something, and another man of God somewhere made it look as if it was a wonder, yet it was no wonder. It is the natural thing of all children and sons of God. And I want to break it down.
to hear walls speak.
That's the easiest thing. That is what should happen to you every time.
Hey, Apostle. You know, the vibe you are giving me right now is, you see, the book of Revelation. It is the easiest book.
Yes, the easiest book in the Bible. The book of the Revelation of Jesus.
It is the easiest book.
Yes.
Apostle.
But with time you've seen is the easiest book.
Of course, it took time.
It was no bragging, right?
It was not bragging.
All right.
So I'm sure this one too.
Yes, I'm just going to show you how your walls speak.
Okay.
For the stone shall cry out of the wall. Now, hold on. See, when you go to Israel, their walls, like the way we have blocks and bricks for building, they use stones with mortar to raise their facades. So he said, for the stone shall cry out of the wall. So, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. How do you know there is a divine presence? Now, look at Habakkuk chapter 2, the verse number 1.
So 2:1 Habakkuk. I will stand upon my watch.
Okay.
And set me upon the tower.
Good.
And I will watch to see what he will say unto me.
Hold on. I will stand upon my watch. I will set me upon the tower. And I will watch to see what he will say unto me. And what I shall answer when I am reproved. Watch it.
Father, help us all. Let us understand who we are.
Now, especially those of us in Ghana, West Africa, yedi bibia kwa koye motia.
Yes.
Yedi bibia kwa koye bonsam. Yedi bibia kwa koye magic. And when supernatural things are happening around us, we lose touch with them.
So especially those of us in the West African sub-region, anytime there's something that alters the course of the natural, the instant attribution is to the devil and devilish works. We lose out on God and divine presence because for us, these things cannot have a link with God. It must always be dwarfs. It must always be evil spirits. It must always be the devil.
Hey, yo.
Very painful phenomenon.
I cannot imagine that the first thing that comes to me in an environment when I'm to decode the divine presence, then I think it's a ghost.
It's a ghost.
Oh no, oh no, oh no. It must then be the Holy Ghost.
But Papa, you see, the series we've been handling recently even proves that. You look at questions that come up even before today's topic. You are talking about divine things, and The question, Papa, what if it's a devil?
How do
forget
I know
about
that?
it is
We'll
so
deal with that.
It's like you say, they're just confirming what our thoughts are enveloped in and how so engrossed we are in the
negative.
When this kind of thing happens, it must be negative.
It must be negative. I will stand upon my watch. I will set me upon the tower. And I will watch to see what he will say unto me. And what I shall answer when I am reproved. Verse 2.
And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision.
Now, God is now answering and saying, write the vision.
And make it plain upon tables,
that
he may run that readeth it.
Verse 3.
For the vision is yet for an appointed time.
But
at the end it shall speak and not lie.
Though
it tarry, wait for it.
Because
it will surely come.
It will not
tarry.
That's all that we leave it there, right? Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. But the just shall do what?
Live by his faith.
Now you can take time off and read all the way to verse 11. But let's jump to verse 10 and verse 11. Verse 10. I love this.
So thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people and hast sinned against thy soul.
Can we read that in the NIV? Verse 10 and 11 in the NIV.
You have plotted the ruin of many people, shaming your own house and forfeiting your life.
Please read it again.
You have plotted the ruin of many people.
You did what?
You have plotted the ruin of many people.
Shaming who?
Your own house.
And what?
Forfeiting your life.
And verse 11.
The stones of the wall will cry out.
And
the beams of the woodwork will echo it.
Now what is he saying? Remember that. You see, in the realm of the spirit, there are things that happen around us that make a home, a space, a divine space.
Okay.
It makes it a glorious space. But it will only be reckoned that way if you respond rightly. And I would use Abraham as a case in point.
Okay.
Listen, spiritual beings, they are on a mission. But they cannot pass by without honoring places of high energy. I need to bring that into point.
Okay.
Let me say it in Cree so that you translate.
Yes, Papa.
Ahom. Omu nchemu kwa. Se sunsum bi twemu. Ebia ne asoma ne se. Onkonkoye bibi e wo fififie. Nanso sunsum no ontumi ntwem. Se bebi a me mete no. Eye high pointer. Sunsum ne ye de ade a akwakoye e wo fifi ho no. Obeba be fa me ho. Ene me edi nkomo. Ansa na waba wo.
Because of the attractive potential at your location.
Because of senia macron baby a me wo no.
So spirits, they might be on a mission, intended sending from the Father or on a particular assignment to a particular location, to a particular person. However, the nature of spirits is such that if there's a place that has been hallowed, if there's a place that is a high energy point, if there's a place that has a high attractive potential that they have affinity for, they will not go to that intended particular location without first visiting that spot of high energy. That is how spirits are.
And the moment obete sade na se no after the ohunu say to me bi atwemu a yeso obekra wo.
So if you are able to have such a space, have such a high energy point, you would notice that any spirit that passes by will first of all pass by that space. If you are the inhabitant of that space, then you will be the one that the spirit sort of informs before he goes on to undertake his particular assignment.
If we say, wo wama ufie ho, wama baby a wote ho no, aba be te say embassy in the realm of the spirit.
And the reason is because however it is that you have been able to make that space hallowed, it has become an embassy in the realm of the spirit. So it is a passing point.
Akwa is a checkpoint.
So like a checkpoint in the spirit.
enti se nipa no ama mekra wa ade bia okwa akoye bia no obenya problem.
So you have to understand that if this is the nature of your space, if this is the nature of that particular energy point that you inhabit, if a spirit is passing by and does not, prior to its undertaking its assignment, inform you, it would have a problem in the spirit realm.
Enunti ene obi biara the practice of his presence.
And that is why it is very necessary for you to understand and engage the practice of his presence.
Because the more I will respond rightly, now we'll build it spiritual headquarters.
The reason why you need to engage the practice of his presence, understanding it and constantly practicing it is because the more you engage, the more you build, the more you energize yourself and your space, you put up a monument of a spiritual headquarters by which each spirit or every spirit that is passing by needs to go through. God himself, understand this, is on his way to Sodom.
Abraham on a walk.
He is not, the intention, his destination is not Abraham's location. He is going to Sodom.
Nanso Abraham, waba be spiritual headquarters. Untumi nko Sodom. Jese waba be to Abraham nkra.
So understand this. God is on his way to Sodom. That is his intended destination. However, because of how Abraham has made himself, the presence he has practiced, and the space and the attractive potential of Abraham's location, God cannot go to Sodom without first of all passing by Abraham's spot. And he has to discuss the matter with Abraham. To tell him about what he's going to do at Sodom and inquire of Abraham what his mind concerning the matter is.
Energy beyond every person in a nation. What about the nation's prophet?